Good news, I got a free Subaru Legacy. Bad news, it keeps stalling. Can I fix it? Let's find out. Hey everybody, so if you've seen my last video with my 98 Subaru Legacy, you'll know that I was given this car for free. My friends didn't want it anymore, and they pretty much know that I'll take on any project or any problem. Yeah, just send your old needy cars my way and I'll try to fix them. So yes, free car equals good, but this one right here, it stalls like a lot. At the worst possible times, in the middle of intersections. I actually just came back from AutoZone with this thing, and yeah, it stalled like 8 times. Not good. So I need to solve that because this car is not smogged yet. It has not passed the emissions test yet. In order to even feel comfortable driving this thing around town, I need to solve that. So I haven't really done much to the vehicle yet. I put a new fresh tank of gas in it. I put some fuel additive in it because the car had sat for a while, and I got an oil change. That's all I've done so far. So I figured, why don't I start with the easy stuff first? Let's start with the air filter. My guess is it's probably very dirty. Maybe we'll try the fuel filter because that's really easy to get to in this car, which is pretty nice. And if that doesn't work, maybe we can try spark plugs and wires. And if that doesn't work, I'm not really sure what to check after that. Maybe the fuel pump, I'm not really sure. So I guess that's probably not an air filter that's causing that, but at least let's take care of that first, just to rule that out.
Okay, so yeah, that is quite dirty. I mean, it's not the worst I've ever seen, but yeah, this looks pretty nasty. Also, there's some leaves and sand and stuff in there. I think I'm gonna vacuum that out real quick.
So yeah, this is pretty nasty. I doubt replacing this will actually change anything. Let's find out. Let's start the car up, see if this made any difference. My guess is still gonna stall. Now it hasn't stalled yet, but it definitely seems to hesitate a little bit, and it seemed like it was almost going to stall. So I'm not gonna bother test driving it right now because I know that didn't fix the issue. Let's try the fuel filter. And Subaru makes getting to the fuel filter super easy. It's right here, very easily accessible. All right, so the fuel filter went in pretty easily. I did manage to spill fuel everywhere. It splashed all over the windshield, all over the windshield wiper. So let's see if that did anything. I have no idea. Let's try to start this car and see if it runs any better. All right, what do you think the chances are that this actually runs properly now and doesn't stall? I gave it 50-50. Let's see if it even starts. I don't know, it's hard to tell. I might have to drive this around the block to really see. Let's go.
20 minutes later.
All right, so the car hasn't stalled in about 30 minutes. I've been driving it around. All this time has not stalled. So maybe the fuel filter actually did it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go see if I can get this thing to pass smog. I don't know, gotta cross my fingers, knock on wood, whatever kind of superstitious thing I can do to get this thing to pass, because I don't really have a whole lot of hope for it. Let's find out. So I just showed up at the smog shop, and of course the first thing that it did was stall. It failed, but not for the reason that I thought it was going to fail. Apparently the quote readiness monitors were not ready, causing it to fail the test. So if the check engine light is reset or the battery was recently disconnected, the car has to go through a specific drive cycle. Basically, it completes a self-test to ensure that the vehicle's emission system is working properly. And when I got the car, the battery was dead, so replacing the battery means that those readiness sensors were not ready until I did that drive cycle. Having owned a Subaru in the past, I remember the drive cycle being extremely specific, and it could take some time if the conditions aren't perfectly met. All right, so let's go drive this thing and see if we can get these readiness monitors to reset.
The next day.
All right, so this is going great. I was driving to get these sensors all sorted out, and I managed to get a check engine light. So yeah, this is definitely not going to pass smog today. Crap! Every single one of my cars is a piece of shit. So let's break out the code reader and see if we can figure out what the heck is going on. All right, so we're looking at a P0170 code, which means that it could either be running rich or lean. So this definitely seems to be some sort of fuel issues. Okay, I learned that I can look at this freeze frame information right here. Long-term fuel trim bank 1, negative 20%. So that sounds like a lean condition, right?
3 days later.
All right, so it's been a few days and I've been trying to figure out what to do with my Legacy in that check engine light. The particular code that I got says that it's running lean. That could be caused by a whole bunch of different things. It could be a bad mass airflow sensor. It could be a bad O2 sensor. It could be a clogged fuel injector. It could also be a vacuum leak. So I figured, why don't I start with the vacuum side of things and see if I can find any leaks. Now, the best way to do this, as far as I can tell, is to get a smoke machine. Yes, a smoke machine. I'm not gonna have a Halloween party here or something like that, but a smoke machine where you put smoke into the system and you see if any of it comes out in any cracks. So I'm gonna try that out. I ended up buying a smoke machine on Amazon. So let's try that. Let's hook it up to the Legacy and see if we can find any vacuum leaks. So the smoke machine's got some oil in it, it's heating it up, it's connected to my compressor, connected to the battery. Okay, so now we need to choose which vacuum line to connect this to. I was actually thinking this one right here, easy to get to. It comes right off. So maybe I'll connect it to that. And I just need to tape up the other side, so let's try that. Start looking to see if we see any smoke coming out. Nothing yet. All right, it's been a few minutes. I still don't see any smoke coming out of here. I might actually try a different vacuum line to see if that makes any difference, but so far, doesn't appear to be any vacuum leaks. The fun of working on old cars, I was just taking this hose off so I could test it out. Vacuum hose decided to just snap right in half. And now I can't do my smoke test because now I've got actual vacuum leaks everywhere. So now I gotta go run to the parts store and get some more hose. Yay.
20 minutes later.
All right, so we're gonna try a new spot to throw some smoke into here. Let's see if this does the trick. Doesn't appear to be any smoke coming out anywhere, so maybe I don't have a vacuum leak. Okay, so I didn't find any vacuum leaks. That doesn't mean that there aren't any. It just means that me being a terrible mechanic could not find any. So hopefully there's none. So I think the next step is to replace a couple of those things that I read online might be the culprit, the O2 sensor. So I actually bought myself an O2 sensor. I didn't realize how expensive these things are. This is like $100. I hope this does it because that's a lot of money to just throw a part at it, but we'll see if this works. And then here's another thing that's also quite expensive. I bought this not knowing if I will need it or not, but this is a new mass airflow sensor. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm really kind of at the throwing parts at the car stage. Before I even get to that, I'm going to replace the spark plugs and the spark plug wires just because it seems like that would be the right thing to do. It's a little oily. All right, new one's going in. So the plugs and wires probably didn't hurt anything, but they certainly didn't help anything. So let's go try changing that O2 sensor. More parts to throw at this car. Somewhere in there is an O2 sensor. It's in there somewhere. It's right there. And contrary to what I had read online, it seems to be easier to get to this upstream O2 sensor from above here. So I'm gonna try to do that. So after wrangling with this for about 20 minutes, I finally got it out. Oh man, I am tired just from pulling on things. And I'm old, and I shouldn't be doing this kind of crap anymore. But anyway, here's the problem. I think I ordered the wrong O2 sensor because those definitely don't match. I'm gonna go back to the parts store, get the right one.
20 minutes later.
Yet another trip to the parts store, and I've got another O2 sensor, which should be the right one now. This was even more expensive than the other one, but let's just hope it works. And it's got the correct connector. Let's install it. All right, so I feel like I've been working on this car for days, and yeah, I guess I actually have been working on this car for days. Let's see if that O2 sensor did anything. I hope it did, because I'm kind of sick of working on this thing right now. Wish me luck. Cross my fingers, all that stuff. Let's see if it starts. Okay, so the car did seem to stumble a little bit right there, so I don't think the O2 sensor did anything, or at least it didn't help that much. All right, so all of that work that I just did apparently did nothing. I'm gonna throw one more part at this thing. I'm gonna throw a new mass airflow sensor, see what happens, drive it around the block. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna push the car off a cliff, most likely. Who knows if this is good or not? I have no idea.
You know, actually, before I install the new one, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can try to clean this. I actually have some mass airflow cleaner. Apparently you can just spray on this carefully and let it dry and install it and see if it fixes it. Let's give it a shot.
Okay, so it did the same thing that it was doing before. Just then it started to hesitate a little bit. Right, there it is. A beautiful new mass airflow sensor, which I have no idea if it's going to fix my problem. All right, so we've done an oil change. It's got a new fuel filter. The car's got new spark plugs, new spark plug wires. It's got a new upstream O2 sensor. It's got a new mass airflow sensor. I don't know if all of this work was for naught, but we'll find out, because I'm gonna have to start this car right now, and I'm either gonna cry, I'm gonna laugh maniacally. Maybe I'll do both. Let's find out if this thing runs properly. Shall we? I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about this. All right, I think the only way to figure this out is to drive it around and see what happens. Let's go.
20 minutes later.
Okay, so once again, I've driven the car for about 30 minutes and it hasn't stalled, it hasn't hesitated, but I can't even really tell if that's just an anomaly or I actually fixed it. I have no idea. So I'm just gonna assume that it's fixed. I'm gonna go home, reset the check engine light, see if I can get those readiness monitors to reset, and try to get this stupid thing smogged again.
3 days later.
All right, I finally got the sensors to clear. 8 out of 8 readiness sensors are ready. It basically required just going a steady 60 miles an hour on the freeway for 3 minutes straight without any braking, without any acceleration, without any turning, without any steering. So yeah, it was kind of hard to do in LA traffic, but I did find a little space here where I was able to do that. So now it's ready to go, and now I can go get this thing smogged. It only took like 5 days.
All right, here I am again at the smog shop. I've spent a lot of time trying to get this thing ready to pass smog. It better do it.
All right, I've got the results right here. After all of this trial and error, after me bumbling my way through trying to fix this car, what do you think? Do you think this actually passed the California emissions test? Let's find out, shall we? Yes, it passed! Woohoo! So there you have it. I'm sure this could have been done more eloquently by an actual qualified mechanic, but at least I gained a tiny bit of satisfaction from doing this myself. It's nice to get at least one small win. All right, next up for this project is that it needs a name. This car doesn't have a name. How about Terrible Legacy? Subaru too. Those are terrible, but if you got any ideas, let me know in the comments below. And I'm glad that after all of this, I don't have to push this car off a cliff. I'll keep it for at least another day. Next up for this vehicle, I gotta lift it, gonna put some off-road wheels and tires on it, and take it off-roading, and hopefully I don't accidentally drive it off a cliff. I think that's gonna be it for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video and you wanna see more like it, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon so you can get notified of all my new videos. If you wanna buy a Hello Road t-shirt and help support the channel, you can do that at helloroad.tv/shop. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're well, and I'll see you soon.